This is the Ninja 400, the twin 400cc parallel engine which has led the performance pack all this while, and it was away from India for a short hiatus of 2 years, and now it has come back. But there is a little more bad news to share than good, and today I'm going to share all of it with you. For Hindi videos, you can now subscribe to my personal channel Amit Chhangani. For over 13 years, Motoroids has been delivering in-depth videos covering every single detail about products minus any unnecessary nonsense or drama. You can promote quality content by subscribing to Motoroids, adding Motoroids in your searches and by sharing our content with your like-minded friends. हिंदी बोलने वाले मेरे प्यारे दोस्तों, हिंदी वीडियोस के लिए अब आप मुझे मेरे पर्सनल चैनल अमित छंगानी पे फॉलो कर सकते हैं. लिंक इन डिस्क्रिप्शन. तो चलिए मिलते हैं वहां. Now to start off, as you can see, the styling on this motorcycle is just the way it was when it left our shows, and when it's come back, the proportions and the design is exactly the same except for the livery. Now it's inspired by Kawasaki Racing Team's colors, and it looks rather nice in this devilish green color which we have always loved. However, if you look at the design, it's just the way it always was, and that's not a bad thing because it looks very aggressive and I quite like the way it looks. Although in some parts I think the black has been overdone and lighter hints of black could have been nicer. But what I really love is some highlighting with red, like here on the fairing, here on the cowl, and also what I really love is this nice red touch on the lower cowl. Overall, it is one of the sportiest looking motorcycles in its class. Of course, it's the fastest even now, but you would be a little disappointed to know that in its BS6 avatar, that's this one, this motorcycle produces 5 PS less than what it used to earlier. So now the power output is 45 PS as opposed to 50 PS that it used to be earlier, and the power is produced at 10,000 RPM, although the red line is at a high 12,000 RPM. Peak torque of 37 Newton meters is also down by 1 Newton meters, and it's produced at 8,000 RPM. Now, while the power is more, about 2 PS, as compared to the RC 390, the torque is the same, although the RC is a higher revving and a peakier engine. Let's keep our discussion on the design only for now. And as you can see, it gets these twin headlights which look very nice, and while they are nice, they are all LED. They don't have a DRL. They have these pilot lamps which look very nice, but there are many omissions. And if I am talking about the front section, here you don't get inverted forks like you do in a lot less expensive motorcycles these days. 286 front discs, twin pot Nissan calipers, and the tires here are 110 section Dunlop Sport Max tires. And while the tires are good, they probably could have been a little bit better. I have experienced better rubber, and this is not the best rubber that I have seen. The blinkers could also have been LED in this day and age, and unfortunately they are not. Now these mirrors, they look very nice and they are quite well extended, and they offer a very good view of the scene from behind. However, in crowded situations, they run a risk of fouling with other traffic, and that's something that you have to be careful about. Another great thing is this proper clip-on setup that you have for handlebars, and it does look nice. It's very sporty. Now this instrument console can be called a bit of a disappointment again because it doesn't get a TFT color screen, and while it does get some important functions, it doesn't get all of them. So let's have a look at what all we got here. And you have an engine malfunction light, high beam, ABS, neutral indicator. Of course, you have turn indicators, an analog tachometer, you have this gear indicator, and you have this clock, an odo and 2 trip meters, fuel gauge, temperature gauge, and average fuel efficiency, along with range, and of course a digital speedo. But you don't get a color TFT display like you get on the RC 390 or even the Apache RR 310. So that's a bit of a miss. There are a lot of electronics also missing. I'll get to that in a bit. But what I can tell you is that this handlebar is not too committed, and if you're used to slightly sport riding posture, you won't feel too uncomfortable. Although if you're coming from the commuter segment, you will feel some weight on your palms for sure. This is what the key looks like. It's a wave bite key, and which is a good thing. You get engine kill switch. This is the ignition. Horn is like this. Turn indicators, high beam, low beam, day flasher. However, you don't have a hazard light here, and that again is a bit of an omission. That's what the mirrors look like from here, and the tank flap also is rather differentiated. This is what it looks like. The fuel capacity here is 14 liters, and with a rough average efficiency of about 25 kilometers to the liter, you'll have over 300 kilometers of range, which I think is sufficient. Now let's have a look at the seat as well, and I think this seat by itself is comfortable, although this tank is raised, and if you're riding fast and braking hard over long distances, this can be a bit of a ball buster, so you have to be careful about that. Pillion seat, as you would know, this is a step unit, and it's not something that you'd want to be riding with a pillion on for a very long time, so it's only for short commutes, not suitable for long distances at all. So this motorcycle is not pillion seat rider friendly. Now the ground clearance is 140 mm, and that's sufficient. I can tell you that even with 2-up riding, it doesn't cause any problems. And although that cowl, as you may see, goes rather down, but it will not cause any problems whatsoever. And as for heating, if you're riding it in hot conditions, in stop-start traffic, there is some amount of heat emanating from the engine. It's not entirely cool. It's a liquid-cooled engine, but it does emanate some heat, and you aren't completely insulated from the heat. So it's not the coolest running engines, but it's not hot enough to trouble you either. The tail lamp also, just like the front, is an LED unit, and the blinkers, just like the front, are bulbs. 150 section Dunlop tires at the rear also, and this exhaust is upswept to ensure that you can lean without any problem. And lean, this motorcycle does without any problem. You really can lean this motorcycle into corners. Fantastic handling, super refined engine, very linear. And the great thing about this motorcycle is that it comes across a very natural, very capable handle. It doesn't seem to be struggling when you want to dip it. It comes across as a very friendly motorcycle too, and unlike some other motorcycles, including the RC 390, which is a little bit quirky, it has power delivery in the higher echelons. This motorcycle delivers power at lower end. Now the suspension up front is the normal telescopic fork, and at the rear you get a monoshock with 5-step adjustable settings. Let's have a listen to the exhaust as well. Well, it's a nice sounding engine, but there is nothing to write home about either. Then let's have a look at the riding position also. And as you can see right now, the foot pegs are reasonably rear set, and the clip-ons are also not too aggressive. So for someone who's used to riding a reasonably sporty motorcycle, this comes across as a very natural position. The seat is also very good, so you can actually ride it over long distances without any problem. And if you're not going to be carrying too much load, this can be your tourer machine as well. Now to talk about a few other specs, the weight here is 168 kgs, which is 4 kgs lighter than the RC 390 despite being a twin cylinder engine. And the front brake is 286 mm, the rear is 193 mm. This comes with a twin channel ABS. Wheelbase is 1370 mm, which is 30 mm longer than the RC 390. And the saddle height, as I showed you right now, is not too high at 785 mm. And for a person who is 5'6", 5 feet 7, I think it should not come across as a problem at all. Now the real life fuel efficiency of this motorcycle is 25 kilometers per liter, and if you're going to be riding it on the highway, not trying to wring its throttle, it's going to deliver up to 30 kmpl also. So that's not bad for a 400cc twin cylinder motorcycle and for the kind of performance that it offers. Now the first thing is that this is a super refined engine, and it's a very linear, very friendly engine also. So that really is the highlight, and it can really ride at very low speeds in higher gears. So even if you're riding at say 30 kilometers per hour in 6th gear, this motorcycle doesn't hesitate. In 5th gear, 25 kilometers per hour is no problem. 4th gear, 20 kilometers per hour, no problem. So in terms of tractability, if you're going to be riding it in the city, no problem at all. And the great thing about this motorcycle is that the clutch here comes with slip and assist function, and it really is one of the lightest clutches that I've seen. So within the city in stop-start traffic, there is no problem at all. However, it does not come with adjustments, and that is a bit of an issue because some of the motorcycles in the segment do come with an adjustment, and I would have really liked it to have those adjustments, especially for the kind of price that it's coming for. Now another highlight of this motorcycle is its ride quality, and it rides plush over bad surfaces, as well as is very stable on the highways, feels very natural around the corners. So it's a very good package. Whether you're riding one up or with a pillion rider, the ride quality is fantastic. And if there is something that's missing, that's not entirely to your taste, you can probably tune it a little bit with the 5-step adjustable rear suspension for preload, but adjustability for the front section is missed. Nonetheless, ride quality and handling is not something that I'm complaining about with this motorcycle at all. The motorcycle is generally vibe free only when you take it about 10,000 rpm to 11,000 rpm, etc. There is a very mild sensation of vibes to the tanks and the handlebar, but it's completely something that you can neglect. It's not a vibey motorcycle, it's super smooth. And in terms of performance, it does its 0 to 80 run in 4 seconds flat. It goes to 0 to 100 in 5.3 seconds, and 0 to 60 is achieved in a lightning quick 2.4 seconds. Now if you compare it with the RC390, the RC390 does the 0 to 100 sprint in a slightly higher 5.7 seconds, and the 0 to 60 it takes 0.1 seconds more. So the RC390, despite being a lot less expensive and having a cylinder less, still manages to almost match this motorcycle in terms of performance. In terms of top speed also, this motorcycle's top speed is 169 kilometers per hour. That's the true speed. And the RC390 does about 175 kilometers per hour on the speedo, which is 170 kilometers or thereabouts in terms of true speed. So the two motorcycles are well matched in terms of the top speed also. So not much to tell between the two motorcycles, especially taking into consideration the discount that the RC390 comes at. So the Ninja, great performance. It has better tractability, lower down the rev range. It is more refined, more friendly, but in outright performance terms, the RC390 does match it rather well. Now let's talk about the cruising speeds, and at 7,500 rpm in 6th gear, you'll see speedo indicating 120 kilometers per hour, which means that you still have about 5,000 rpm left to play with, which means that it's a great tourer, and on the highways you can really ride very quickly on this motorcycle and cover great distances. So in that sense, it's a great motorcycle again. However, it does not come across as a motorcycle that you can lug a lot of load on, and hooks like these can probably be used to put bungee cords and carry the load. It's not a motorcycle that's custom made for it. So if you want to be going touring, you'd better keep your luggage to a bare minimum. So overall, the best performing motorcycle up to 400cc. Very friendly, very refined, very linear, gets to 170, 175 kilometers per hour without a problem. However, there are many things that are against this motorcycle as well, and a smaller part of the problem are the missing features. And let me just let you know all the features that I think are missing on this motorcycle. It doesn't get ride by wire, it doesn't get any ride modes, it doesn't have a color TFT display, it doesn't get adjustable suspension up front, which even the Apache RR 310 gets. It doesn't get adjustable levers, it doesn't have any Bluetooth, it doesn't have a lap time recorder, it doesn't get USD forks, it doesn't get a quick shifter, a traction control, or a lean sensitive ABS. So all of those omissions for the kind of price that this motorcycle is asking for are quite glaring. Now, as I mentioned, the missing features were just a part of the problem. So what's the bigger problem? Even with all those omissions, if this beautiful engine and this beautiful chassis and this fantastic package was available at an affordable cost, I would have overlooked all of those features, because I know as a standalone package, even without those electronics and gimmicks, this is a fantastic piece of machinery, but it's expensive. It's 5 lakh rupees ex showroom, which makes it very expensive to own. And in some states, the price is prohibitively high. For example, in Mumbai, you'll have to pay 6.54 lakh rupees on the road for this motorcycle, which is very high in my personal opinion. In Delhi also, you'll have to shell out about 5.7 lakh rupees. And I think that kind of price pushes you into the 600, 650cc category, whereby adding a couple lakhs more, you'll get a bigger engine with more capability. In terms of warranty, it gets 2 year, 30,000 kilometers standard warranty. And I think that's a par for course, but again, the price is just too high. Just to put things in perspective, the RC390 is available for 3.16 lakh rupees, which, by the way, is more than 1.8 lakh rupees cheaper. And if you go down one step further, which is the RR310, you'd save almost 2.4 lakh rupees. And the RR 310 is a pretty damn good motorcycle loaded with features and a very capable, good looking feature loaded motorcycle and extremely capable around the bends and on the highways as well. So that's that, guys. Much as I love the Kawasaki Ninja 400 for its engine and its performance, I think the price is a little too much. And only if you don't mind paying that extra money and love this green goblin, you can probably go ahead and buy it. But if budget is a constraint, then this motorcycle is an absolute no-no. I really hope that I was able to answer all your questions about this motorcycle. If you liked the video, do not forget to hit the like button, subscribe to Motoroids, promote good quality content. And until next time, this is your friend Amit Changani signing off. Rev hard, rev free, and ride safe.